Welcome back to Seeing Red MMA Podcast. I'm your host, Dustin, here. We got a big night of fights coming up this weekend. UFC 304, Leon Edwards defending his welterweight title in a rematch against Belal Muhammad. Now, this is a pretty good card here. I mean, Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad is your main event. Tom Aspinall defending his interim belt against Curtis Blaydes, also a rematch. Interesting enough, both fights ended in a injury, basically. But Leon accidentally poked Belal in the eye. Tom blew his knee out against Curtis Blaydes in like 15 seconds. So very interesting matchups we got here. We also got the return of Paddy the Baddy trying to get a ranking in the lightweight division against Bobby King Green. He has legally changed his name to King. Christian Leroy Duncan taking on Gregory Rodrigues. Arnold Allen taking on Giga Chikadze, Nathaniel Wood, Daniel Pineda, Meatball, Molly McCann, Bruna Brasil, Jake Hadley, Coleman Lockrain, and a bunch of other great fights on this card as well too. But let's just dive into it, starting with the main event here. Leon Edwards coming off of his, I would call it, lackluster title defense against Colby Covington in this past December in Las Vegas, where didn't really get to do a whole lot other than just outpoint Colby, because Colby was basically just running away the entire fight and didn't really do anything. And Leon is known as a counter puncher, can have some offense here, but typically it's just 1-2 shots at a time, not really mixing in a whole lot of combinations depending on who the opponent is. And in that kind of scenario, an opponent like Colby, who is definitely a wrestler, so minding his P's and Q's with being offensively tactical and not exposing any options for the takedown. Now, Belal Muhammad, as we know, is primarily a grappler, but I wouldn't say he's the same style of grappler as Colby Covington. I would honestly say Colby is probably a better grappler, but Belal Muhammad has better striking. And I am saying that with a very, very tiny grain of salt, because both Belal and Colby's striking is absolutely god awful. As we know, like I said previously, this fight ended in a no contest due to an eye poke, but we did get to see in that fight, this is one of those rare occasions where Leon actually let his hands go and actually rocked Belal with a head kick in that fight as well too. So the odds definitely have what I have here as far as who's going to win. Leon a minus 250, Belal a plus 205. If I had to guess, I would say Leon probably keeps the distance, pumps the jab, leg kicks, body kicks, things like that, picks his shots really well, and defends against any takedown coming his way by staying at distance, grabbing the underhooks, going to the outside, things like that. Yeah, I got Leon by decision in this one. Not really much to go off of here. There is some bad blood going into this fight, so who knows what could happen, but both of these guys are very good at sticking to game plans. They don't let their emotions take over, so I could definitely see Belal kind of just making this boring if it's kind of going his way and just holding him up against the fence, taking him down, smothering him, things like that. But Leon, I got him by decision. Now we have another championship fight on this card. Tom Aspinall, as we know, is going to be taking on Curtis Blaydes in another rematch. And their first encounter, Tom Aspinall, literally 15 seconds into the fight, threw a kick and blew his knee out. Yeah, so I mean, not really much to go off of in that fight other than Tom's last fight was absolutely sensational again last November against Sergey Pavlovich on short notice, knocking him out in the first round here. Curtis Blaydes had a pretty nice performance, taking out the sport killer, as I like to call him, Jailton Almeida, who is absolutely boring as shit to watch. And I think he became everybody's favorite fighter that night for beating Jailton Almeida, because I don't know a single person who's a Jailton Almeida fan. But looking at their size, 6'5" for Tom Aspinall, 6'4" for Curtis Blaydes. The weight, 253 is what they have Tom at. I probably have a feeling he's probably going to come in close to like 260. Blaydes, 265. Every bit of a natural heavyweight there. Reach advantage does go to Blaydes only by 2 inches, but when you have speed and athleticism like Tom Aspinall, the height, the reach, none of that really matters here. I mean, the man has a perfect finishing rate. I think his average fight time is like under 2 minutes, something crazy like that. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to look it up either, so we'll just say it's under 2 minutes. And we know Curtis Blaydes obviously is primarily a grappler. His hands have gotten better over the years, so we'll see what he can do with that. But, I mean, it's hard for me to go in any direction other than Tom Aspinall via TKO here. I don't think he's going to want to test the ground against Curtis Blaydes. Keeps his standing, stays on the outside, uses that really powerful 1-2, and then finishes him off from there. Tom Aspinall stays your interim champ and then faces John Jones early next year, depending if John Jones sticks around after fighting Stipe Miocic. And now Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblet here. This is an interesting fight. Paddy Pimblet's last fight was also the same card that Leon fought Colby when he beat Tony Ferguson for 3 rounds. Bobby Green's last fight was UFC 300 where he beat the absolute shit out of Jim Miller. Like, that was one of those beatings where you're like, God damn, dude. That was rough to watch. Just Jim Miller being as old as he is, taking a beating like that. Obviously, that fight was primarily staying on the feet there. Paddy is a lot younger. He's a lot more athletic than Jim Miller, in my opinion here. I mean, the odds are kind of interesting in this fight. They have Bobby as, I guess I should start calling him King since he legally changed his name. So King has a minus 125. Paddy is a plus 105. So pretty even odds here. I wouldn't recommend betting on this fight. I have a feeling it's probably going to go the distance in Paddy's way, especially being in England. And we know Paddy has a history of having decisions gifted to him, so we'll see if that trend continues. But I know Bobby's not much of a submission expert. I know he does have a submission win over Tony Ferguson, but we all know where Tony Ferguson's at in his career. But definitely an interesting fight to take a look at depending on how Paddy performs against a guy like King Green. This could set him up for a top 10 opponent in the lightweight division, which I'm interested to see. I'm waiting to see Paddy fight definitely a lot better opponents in the near future. Moving on, Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodrigues, the RoboCop. Christian Leroy Duncan, definitely more of a flashier fighter. He is heavy with the kicks, spin kicks, side kicks, all of that and some more. Very tall and lengthy fighter as well, too. Christian Leroy Duncan is going to be coming in standing at 6'2", but you also have Gregory Rodrigues coming in at 6'3". Reach advantage definitely goes to Duncan. 4-inch reach advantage is 79 and 4-inch reach advantage. I'm retarded. 79-inch reach advantage for Duncan. 75-inch reach advantage for Gregory Rodrigues. Now, we know Gregory Rodrigues, he is a fight-or-die fighter. He goes out there, he swings for the fences, he's got crazy knockout power, he can put anyone's lights out, but we have seen him struggle with guys that are able to maintain distance, and he's not able to get his shots off, and he ends up getting clipped, cut, and it usually doesn't end up going his way. The odds do reflect what I'm thinking in this fight as well, too. I think Christian Leroy Duncan is going to probably take a decision, minus 142 for Duncan, plus 120 for Rodrigues. But, hey, I wouldn't be mad at a RoboCop KO, which I can definitely see happening as well. So we'll see what happens. Now, my fight to look at on this card, the fight that I'm paying a lot of attention to, is Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. Now, Arnold Allen is coming off of that loss to Movsar Evloev, but, I mean, Evloev is undefeated. Definitely more of a grappling heavy style, which I wasn't mad with Arnold's grappling in that fight either. I thought he did pretty good in defending some of the takedowns and also in the scrambles. And I think he's going to go to that when taking on a guy like Giga, who is primarily a kickboxer. I know he's been working with guys like Beneil Dariush over in, what's their name? King's MMA. So I could definitely see Giga getting some shots off early and forcing Arnold to kind of shoot maybe at a impromptu time and causing some sort of a car crash there and Giga getting the win. But, I mean, the odds definitely reflect this as well, too. They got Arnold Allen as a minus 238. Giga is a plus 230 or plus 195, excuse me. But, I mean, this is such a great fight there because Arnold is good with the hands. He's good on the ground. He's a complete mixed martial artist. His fights as of recent, he hasn't really been able to put them together. We know the Evloev fight, the Max Holloway fight. He does have that TKO win over Dan Hooker in his last visit to England as well, so we'll see. But I think Arnold Allen probably gets it done by decision, if not submission. Now, another great fight to keep an eye out for is Nathaniel Wood taking on Daniel Pineda. Now, Nathaniel Wood's boxing is so crispy. It is so fun to watch. He is so tight and so technical. Both of these gentlemen are coming off of a loss here, but when you look at their experience, 20-6 for Wood, 28-15 for Pineda with 3 no contest. These guys have been around the block here, so I can definitely see this being a dog fight, especially with the style that both of these guys have. Primarily going to maintain a standing-only altercation here. And as far as their reach and height, it's almost identical. Wood is an inch shorter at 5'6". Pineda is 5'7", 69-inch reach advantage for both of them there. I think Nathaniel Wood does get the edge in this fight. I just want to see how well Pineda's chin holds up. I think Wood probably gets a TKO here because I know none of Daniel Pineda's fights go the distance. If memory serves, they all end somehow. Either he's on the losing end or the other person's on the losing end. But the odds definitely reflect what I'm thinking. This is a heavy favorite. Nathaniel Wood is a minus 425 with Daniel Pineda being a plus 330. So I would definitely lean towards the combination bet of Nathaniel Wood by TKO or decision. Molly McCann is pursuing her strawweight tint, taking on Bruna Brasil. Molly McCann looked fantastic in her last fight. I think strawweight is the division she should have been at this entire time, but obviously when you get a short notice fight like she did in her debut, you got to do what you got to do. Probably felt good at flyweight when she was fighting there, but yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to have longevity in your career. And she looks great for 115, looks nice and lean, looks very strong as well too, and I think that's what we're going to see here. I think we're going to see Molly McCann just continue her surge at strawweight. This is the division she should have been fighting in for a long time. But there is a bit of a size advantage here for Brazil. She is 5'6" compared to McCann's 5'4". She does have a 3.5-inch reach advantage there, but with McCann's style of striking being more of a looping striking, some jabs thrown in there, here and there, but Brazil definitely has a, more linear striking path where she's throwing punches and kicks right down the middle rather than kind of brawling like McCann does. But I could definitely see McCann getting a decision win here or a submission win. She is a minus 360 to Brazil's plus 285. So, yeah, a lot of these odds are reflecting what I think is going to happen. Except for this fight. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Jake Hadley is taking on Colin Lochrain. I think I'm saying his name right. But Lochrain's a dog. He's very technical, and he is a dog. I know he's only 9-1 in his professional career. He's coming in here at, is this at bantamweight? No shit. So Jake Hadley is moving up from 125 to 135 after losing to, I believe it was Charles Johnson, if memory serves correct. But Colin Lochrain is a dog, dude. He goes out there and bites down on his mouthpiece. Tough as nails there. I will say the technique does go Jake Hadley's way, but we have seen Jake Hadley crumble under high-pressure situations in the past, so I think this is the perfect opponent for Jake Hadley, or for Colin. I think Colin probably gets it done by decision, just making it a very dirty and grimy fight. But the odds don't see that. They have Colin as a plus 180 and Hadley as a minus 218. Who cares about this fight? Modestas Bukauskas versus Marcin Pracino. Bukauskas by decision. That's all I'm going to say about that fight, because who gives a shit? Ooh, Oban Elliott versus Preston Parsons. This is going to be a good one, guys. Oban Elliott is a dog as well, too. I believe it's the Welsh Gangster is what he goes by. So that one is going to be a good fight as well. Don't know too much about Preston Parsons. I've seen him in passing here. I know both of them are coming off of wins. Welterweight match, pretty much even. 6 foot for Elliott, 5'11" for Parsons. Same exact reach advantage there. So we'll see. It should be a fun fight. This fight, though, it confuses me why this is on the early prelims. It really makes no sense. I say you take RoboCop and Rodrigues, put them on the normal prelim portion, knock everyone else down, and put this on the main card because these guys have bad blood. Muhammad Mokaev versus Manal Kape. For this high of a fight, like as far as like in the rankings, I know it's number 6 and number 8, but we know flyweight right now is kind of in a weird spot with not many contenders, especially after Steve Erceg's fight against Pantoja back in May. I feel like whoever wins this fight, especially if they show up and show out and put on a really good performance, there's your next title contender right there. So it really is. It confuses me why it is so low on the card here. I mean, both of these guys are coming off wins in the last fight. Mokaev's not a very impressive win over Alex Perez. Manel Kape's last win was a short notice opponent where I actually got put to it. So, I mean, grappling advantage, I'm definitely saying Mokaev. Power advantage, I'm definitely saying Kape. But I think Mokaev probably has a little bit of an edge as far as being the younger fighter. He is just definitely improving in his skills every time we see him. Alex Perez fight notwithstanding, I kind of have to lean more Mokaev by decision in this one. Sam Patterson versus Kiefer Crosby. I know Sam Patterson from getting knocked the fuck out by that Israeli dude, Free Palestine. Yeah, 6'3" versus 5'11". Damn, Parsons is big for welterweight. Damn, shit. All right. Yeah, I have no idea who Crosby is, so I'm going to go Parsons. Mick Parkin, another fat heavyweight, versus Lucas Brzeski, who is another fat heavyweight. Look at, guys, a UFC card is not complete without 2 out-of-shape heavyweights slugging it out. Bet this fight to go the distance. I promise you it will cash. Mick Parkin by decision, by the way. That's all. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Shauna Bannon versus Alice Adrenaline. I know Shauna Bannon. No idea who Adrenaline is. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Shauna Bannon's last fight was a loss. It was her debut. And Adrenaline is making her debut. No shot. Okay, the UFC obviously hasn't updated her profile because it says she's 0-0. There's no way they're bringing in an 0-0 fighter into the UFC. That would be absolutely crazy. Yeah, this fight's going the distance as well, too, guys. It's a women's strawweight bout, and they're very, very green in their professional career, 5-1, and apparently 0-0, which I don't believe is true, but I don't care enough to look it up. But this is your card for Saturday. Like I stated previously, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad for your welterweight title. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes for your interim heavyweight title. Bobby Green, Paddy Pimblet, Arnold Allen, Giga Chikadze, Nathaniel Wood. Got a lot of pretty interesting matchups on this card. And obviously it's going to be heavily English represented. I think there's an English fighter or a European fighter on this card. So on each fight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So 14 out of the 13 fights are either from the UK or from like Ireland. So we know what they're doing here. I mean, the UFC loves to cater to whatever crowd they're going to, unless it's at the fight night in like Texas or some bullshit. But yeah, that is your card for this weekend here. Tune in. It is going to be this Saturday, July 27th in Manchester, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for the main card, 5 p.m. prelims, 3 p.m. early prelims. Make sure to tune in, ESPN Plus. We will have a reaction video up after the fights as well, too. So hopefully these are good ones, so that way I don't have to stay up till 1 in the morning to make this video. I should have made it earlier, but I'm retarded, so it is what it is. I'm tired. But that is all for today, guys. tune in next time or later this week. Probably get it Sunday morning. But yeah, if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at SeeingRedMMA. And other than that, like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a great rest of your day. And until next time, see ya.